Hi, a lot of you don't know me, but I'm going to introduce myself here on YouTube as Dee Plus 3. I am Dee, and my channel is called Dee Plus 3. The plus 3 is my husband, my two twins that you will be meeting. We're going to become friends and family, and we are going to give good content for our viewers, whether that be one person or 500 or 1,000 or whatever. But this topic has to be talked about. This topic has to be recognized. It has always been there, but I think that it has been swept under the carpet so much that it's grown into a monster, and we got to see firsthand what it had grown into with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. We got to see that kind of come to fruition on how Black lives did not matter at that point. And it's sad to say, because I am a Black woman, I am married to a Black man, I do have Black children, that we have to discuss this. And it's gonna get people uncomfortable. You're probably not gonna wanna tune into my channel, and that's fine. I'm not asking you to tune in. I'm not asking you to listen, but if you do turn on the channel and listen and just get a peek inside what I'm speaking about and talking about as far as race goes, it will be really worth your while. Because sometimes you need to have these uncomfortable conversations with people so they can understand where you're coming from. And living as a Black woman, only I can tell another person or another human being who's not identified as an African American or a Black woman in America on how it feels to maybe go shopping, to drive in a car, to go jogging, to look at property, to go to a liquor store, to go walk to a corner store to go get Skittles with a hoodie on. Things like that need to be discussed, because that's just, it's starting to get just out of hand. It's starting to take people away from families, brothers away from you know, mothers and fathers and sisters and other brothers, and husbands away from wives, wives away from husbands, grandparents away from their grandchildren. It's really a sad time right now. So the content that we're going to be speaking about is primarily about racism in America. And all of us are very much in this together. So I appreciate how everyone is protesting and speaking out. And I hope that continues for a very long time, because racism lasted a very long time. Slavery lasted a very long time. So you cannot change things in one day. Although things are, you know, the engine is started and it's starting to roll, but it's an uphill battle. And we gotta keep pushing, because the day that we stop, or the day that we feel comfortable or we feel comfort, is when everything begins to stop and we don't see progress. I'm so happy to see everyone out there doing it peacefully and doing it the right way. As far as the rioting, that was already built up the first couple of days or weeks, however long they were rioting. That was already built up anger in people. That was like, okay, enough is enough. Like, now we have to come unraveled. Like, we have to come out. Now we got to show ourselves. And we don't like to show ourselves. No one likes to show the other side of themselves. Everyone likes a nice, professional, well-spoken person. But of course, everyone has the other side. I have another side to me besides this side. Like, you mess with my family, and there is another side to Dee. And I don't like it to come out, because I don't know what I am capable of, because when I start, I don't see anything but red. Period. No, nobody can stop me. Not my kids, not my husband, nobody. So I already know how I am as a person. In this time, we would like, me and my family and everyone out there, millions of other people would like for the police officers to stop killing innocent Black people. Stop. Even if they are or have been criminals, we need you to treat them fairly, because you are here to protect and serve. You're here to protect us and serve us. It shouldn't be a time where, someone's breaking in my house and I'm scared to call 911 because you might take my husband as the person that's breaking in my home. It shouldn't be where, I'm jogging down the street, or my son wants to go out and play and he's playing outside and someone calls the police on him because he's playing outside and he's being too loud. It shouldn't be a problem if I have somebody in our home, which me and my husband pay a mortgage at, and we're in our own home, and somebody says there's a loud noise somewhere and they don't look familiar to me, because you feel like I should introduce myself to everyone on the block and let you know, hi, I'm the new Black owner that owns on your block, and I just need to introduce myself to you to make you feel secure. That's not reality. At this moment, I live in California. I am from Inglewood, and we live in a predominantly Black neighborhood. Now, we have white people that are moving in our neighborhood. We have white people living and moving next to us. I don't bother with them. I don't question why they're here. I don't go up to them and say, what are you doing here? Why are you in my neighborhood? I don't walk up to them and ask them, who are you? Identify yourself. None of that, because that's none of my business. I go about my business and they're going about theirs. That's how we should treat everybody. But unfortunately, it's not like that. Unfortunately, you have to identify yourself when you're in a neighborhood. You have to identify yourself when you're jogging. You have to state who you are, or knock on every door and let people know I'm home from work as a nurse and I'm just wanting to go, lay down, or as an EMT, an emergency room tech. I just want to go to sleep in my own home and just go to sleep. So these are things that I think that we need to have a discussion, because I hear a lot of people that don't like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is something like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. And then you hear the some other people, which is white, it could be white, Latino, whatever. Okay, they'll say, all lives matter. We didn't say only Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter because Black lives are being taken so quickly. That's why we're saying Black Lives Matter. My son matters to me. My daughter matters to me. My husband matters to me. That's my family. That's who I, console with, I argue with. That's my family. So when we speak on Black Lives Matter, we're not saying all lives don't matter. Every human life matters. Everyone in this world matters. Even the racist ones, okay? They matter too, because they have families and they don't want to be taken away either. That's what everyone's protesting for. They just seen a Black man, George Floyd, basically beg and scream that he couldn't breathe, and yelled for his mother, yelled out for his children, yelled out for anyone to help him. And while the cops stood around, which are frontline people, watched him perish and die and defecate on himself, and didn't care, had his hands in his pocket like it was nothing, like it was like he was taking a morning stroll. It was nothing for him. But it was something for his child. It was something for his children. It was something for the mother of his children. It was something for his family. his life meant something. So that's that's how we feel. So that's what the statement is. Black Lives Matter, because you will never see a cop pull a white kid over and he's reaching for his registration in his glove compartment, or trying to tell you that he has a gun in his car and he's licensed and he just wants to show you his license, and then you just get shot for reaching for something. It doesn't happen like that. I wanted to start by saying, you know, I am so sorry to George Floyd's family for what happened to him. I hope that they can get some type of justice, because you can never replace a human being. Like, he's gone for good. You can never remake that person. You can never have the same memories or the same, you know, past, because he is gone, and he is gone forever. And his child will have to grow up, his youngest baby will have to grow up without a father. Like the mother said, she will never be able to go to her dad for things. She will never have, he'll never get to see her graduate from high school and graduate from college. He will never walk her down the aisle. And that's a sad thing. That's something for other people to really sit back and think about that. Like, imagine, you keep saying all lives matter, but just imagine for one day, just take one day of being in that black man's shoes on what happened on that day, and you would understand what the verbiage that we're speaking. Take one moment and be in Breonna Taylor's shoes, where she was tired. I mean, she's a frontliner. She's working with people who have, you know, COVID-19 and other diseases. You come into the emergency room with all type of stuff, tuberculosis, all type of things. And when you get off of work, you're tired, you just want to go lay down, go to sleep. She's thinking she's probably, you know, gonna either go to work the next day, I don't know, or maybe even she was off the next day and was just gonna hang out with her family. She didn't even get to wake up the next morning. Like, was shot 8 times, 7 or 8 times in her bed, and her fiance or her boyfriend woke up thinking somebody broke in her home, and he ended up shooting one of the cops. They held him until, you know, people, you know, until they understood that they went in the wrong home. The whole time they had the person who was of interest, they've already arrested him. He was already behind bars. They went to the wrong home. So that's the crazy thing. That's what I'm saying, like, Black Lives Matter. My kids are black and their lives matter to me, okay? So for anyone who's saying all lives matter, yes, they do. But what are we focused on right now? What is the real issue right now? It's about black people. So right now it's Black Lives Matter. And that's not to dismiss all lives matter, because they do. But right now the focus is on black lives, because they're being took at a high rate from police officers, from people who are making their own arrests. Like, who does this? You're jogging down the street. They supposedly said that they followed him, but how did the truck end up in front of him? Why would you follow him with a shotgun? Why do you have to ask him, why was he looking in an empty house that wasn't even like built? I could see if he was like breaking into a real home that people are actually live in. He's in a home that's under construction, walking through, and the guy that owns the home or is working on the home says he has a camera built in, and a lot of people come and look at that home. A lot of people stop and look to see what's going on. Is that a crime to stop and look at a home? No, but I guess for him it was, and his life was taken. I want you guys to really take time to think about what and I'm talking about people of other cultures and that have Black friends, what is going to be your table topic with them? What are you going to talk about and discuss on how you want to know or you want to understand how they feel? Or you want to understand the whole lingo of Black Lives Matter because you don't understand it. Maybe you don't understand it. You feel like all lives matter and you're really fighting for it and you're digging and reaching, and then you just have to sit down and talk. I think this is a big conversation. It's going to be a bitter pill that you have to swallow, and you're going to hear some things come out of the mouths of a lot of your Black friends that you never thought you would hear, because it's a certain way we have to structure ourselves with other cultures being friends, and we don't want them to feel uncomfortable, but this is the time to make people feel uncomfortable so we can get comfortable. I'm glad that you have tuned into my channel. I hope that this didn't scare you off from me. I want you to subscribe, hit a thumbs up, and please share this, because I do want to get this out there. And I want us to be a unit, because that's how America needs to be. It doesn't need to be separated. We don't need to be in a race war. It just needs to be what it needs to be. It needs to be happiness. We need to be together. Right now we're fighting COVID-19 and all of a sudden we're fighting a race war. This is crazy. So thank you for tuning in to D+3. Like I said, hit the like button, share, and I'll see you next time, probably on a happier note. All right, bye.